Welcome everybody to the DC New 52 review. I want to thank you for tuning into this episode. I am your host, Paulie DC, and let's get into another one of these things. Today will be part 3 of my Rise of the Third Army crossover videos known as Resistance. It was developed by a massive group of talent and took place between 2012 and 13. This review will be the third one leading up to the Rise of the Third Army conclusion, which I will cover alone, plus every final thought for all 4 titles involved. But for where things left off in part 2, Kyle Rayner and Carol Ferris were venturing to unlock the power of all 7 color cores combined. Red Lantern leader Atrocitus is planning his assault against the Third Army. New Green Lantern Simon Baz has been found by another GL, Badge, while Sinestro and Hal Jordan were seen in some kind of purgatory. Then lastly, Guy Gardner has become excommunicado, then has become a jailbird in his hometown of Baltimore thanks to machinations by the Guardians of the Universe, while John Stewart has hooked up with Fatality Yira Sinril on a quest to find Mogo. And of course, the Third Army has been running rampant the entire time. Red Lanterns number 15 is where we shall begin this time around, first seeing main Red Lantern members Scalox and Zilius Zox finding remnants of another fallen comrade due to the Third Army, and with Zilius basically being the comedic relief in this entire series, he starts making such bad jokes they're actually sorta funny. Anyway, it's over to Red Lantern leader's Atrocitus' homeworld of Ryut now, where he's kinda reliving the massacre of Sector 666 due to the robots the Guardians of the U created called Manhunters. However, Atroci quickly discovers this destruction is a half-baked hallucination brought on by some psychic parasite alien that's been camping out on this planet, so it is mangled to death in seconds. Atrocitus then summons a real Manhunter robot army from beneath Ryut's ground because during the planetary wars that went down when these things turned evil, some of the fallen ones were buried on the places they fought. A good start to fight the Third Army now because the creatures can't transmute non-living organisms, except Atroso can't help but destroy a couple in rage because of the pain they caused him in the past, before figuring out how to wake up the rest of them with a power surge involving his own blood. If you were reading this series, you already know that blood of all kinds lets Atrocitus do a lot of stuff. Next up, another 2 top Red Lanterns, Bleeze and human Jack Moore or Rancor, say that 5 times fast, are on Earth because Jackie Boy was told by the boss he must kill the one who caused him to become a Red, so that means finding Baxter the Mugger, who killed his grandfather in Volume 1. Also, if you remember from Red Lanterns Volume 1, Jack had mid-length black hair, but currently as he turns off his fire head, he's got a bit of the Hawk look from American Gladiators. Rest in peace, Lee Rayerman. Anyhow, he insists on seeing his brother Ray first, who totally let himself go after Grandpa died and little brother turned to the Red Lantern Corps, and here now, looking pitiful while telling his returned family member to get away, it gets the rage flowing in Rancor, extremely ready for revenge now. Funny thing though is Ray got friggin' killed in Red Lantern number 6, adding to Jack's rage, and Peter Miligan was the writer of that too. Did the folks at DC think we wouldn't remember? Yikes, man. Speaking of revenge, however, if you're remembering Dexstar the Familiar being with Bleeze and Mr. Moore, well, he took off looking for places that look like the Stormwatch satellite, the Eye of the Storm, because during a mini crossover with that title and this one, the Deadly Midnighter got a little rough on the kitty, so payback is in order. As for Jack, with him being from England, he finds his nemesis Baxter in a small house out on the countryside, and he's under police custody, similar to issue 6, but when Rand Kaur arrives in a smash, some cop that he badly burned is there and makes him slightly guilty. However, consulting issue 6 again tells me that this nipper was not walking away from Jack's attack. Whatever, Bleeze has to then step in next to gear up this situation into its conclusion. To finish, though, Zilius Zox and Scalox have returned to Red Lantern headquarters Yesmalt to help feed their weak central battery due to a recent battle with foe Abysmus. Problem is, it's not healing properly at all, to which intelligent RL member and appointed watcher of the battery called Ratchet has theories about why. But we already know the answer, seen below in the grotesque-looking 4 inversions, who were hinted to be part of a plot before the Rise of the Third Army crossover began. And things look to be ending early for Atrocitus because on Ryut, the recently dug-up Manhunter robots unsurprisingly turn on him, delivering one hell, and I mean one hell of a big blast. Green Lantern New Guardians number 15 opens on Violet Lantern Corps / Star Sapphire leaders the Zamarons getting their first up-close encounter with the Third Army as they watch the creatures overtake a clan of space spiders. But the bigger reason these females are being shown first is because they are apparently working with the Guardians of the Universe to save their own skins. Kyle Rayner is next seen on his way to Orange Lantern headquarters, the planet Okara, and he's still accompanied by Violet Lantern Carol Ferris, of course, plus Yellow Lantern Arkilo has joined the duo. Curious if Rayner can gain control of the whole emotional electromagnetic spectrum, and referring to him as human even though they've spent the better part of 2 volumes being teammates seemed a bit weird. Anyway, once the trio land, they are met by female guardian Saeed, who's sort of been the Orange Lantern's leader Larfleeze's prisoner, and in GLNG number 12, admitted to bringing the group together deceitfully, which ultimately broke them apart, but Saeed mainly did it to try and save Ganthet after the other Guardians turned on him at the New 52's beginning in Green Lantern Volume 1, allowing me to mention that there was a short flashback shown to when Kyle was being introduced to the Green Lantern Corps and its planet base of Oa 2 years ago. He got to see Ganthet and Saeed making secret meetings to explore their emotions. Wink wink. Now, with Larfleeze having helped the New Guardians team defeat Space God Invictus recently, he's not so unwelcoming as to last time we saw him, allowing Carol to use a unique Star Sapphire ability, which is scanning for true love in one's soul, and after a bright display of violet light, she finds out Larfy lost his family eons ago, but some may still be out there who maybe even know the OL leader's real name, causing him to shed a tear. Whoa, where did that come from? Doesn't matter for the moment, as Kyle still needs to learn the orange power of avarice, and with blue, green, red, yellow, and indigo locked in already, Larfleeze says bring it on, because all you have to do is take away the one and only Orange Lantern from him. A fight then happens before Agent Orange releases his entire corps against Kyle, except not much of anything can happen going forward due to the Third Army suddenly crashing the scene, making this the first time any of these characters have seen this new enemy, with Saeed instantly realizing her Guardian mates created the group. I also really liked Raynor's demeanor and attitude shift when using or harnessing the colors he's already got, such as Yellow Fear this time with the chaos that's begun now. Kyle also gets a free ticket in grabbing the orange lantern, thus unleashing his inner greedy spirit, which he rather enjoys, forcing Larfy to majorly freak out and try to reclaim his avarice lantern. But this is looking like it's going to turn into a serious problem for our main GL here, becoming a bit too greedy, so Saeed demands Carol intervene. So, with minimal choices, she does have to use her Star Sapphire abilities on Raynor, which at first gets her called a witch. I don't think that's what he was going for. I think maybe he wanted to switch the first letter of that word. But after a construct of his former love, Alex, he chills out right before Saeed sacrifices herself to the Third Army, allowing the other four to escape. Wow, I kinda liked her, and the other Guardians do get wind of her death, with Ganthet seeming to be affected by it for just a second. Green Lantern number 16 continues right from where number 15 ended, as Green Lantern member Badge has completed the task Administrator Green Lantern Selak sent him on of finding Hal Jordan's ring, which Simon Baz now wears, and in past issues, every time someone's tried to touch the jewelry, a warning construct of Hal and Thal Sinestro pops out. However, Badge knows it's a pending message, so they must find Hal's actual Green Lantern that he never actually should have had technically to charge the ring due to it dying 5 minutes ago. Agent Franklin Fed, who's been put on the job to bring Baz in over his alleged terrorist status that kicked off his hero's journey in issue number 0, also shows he's truly a good guy, telling his target to get out of there and clear his name. Fed even personally calls his boss, Suicide Squad leader Amanda Waller, to report the truth that a man named Edward Whale was the bomber they wanted. Anyhow, it's over to Coast City, the last place Hal and Sinestro were seen alive, and the Green Lantern that's being looked for is pretty easily found, allowing a recharge that puts Simon back in uniform, but he elects to still keep a real pistol with him that he collected in his recent fight with Eddie. So yeah, we know someone's getting shot later. Simon next skillfully separates Hal and Sinestro's messages with his ring after advice from Badge, first listening to Jordan, who bullet points what recently happened to him regarding Blackhand, and if he's truly dead, find his girlfriend Carol Ferris. Sinestro's message is more simple, saying locate his most loyal Yellow Lantern Corps member, Arkilo. Not a good idea now, though, considering Arky wants to kill Thal over becoming a Green Lantern. Regardless of all that, Badge also finds the Book of the Black, an item that was very idiotically left behind by the Guardians of the Universe after involving themselves in the fight between Hal, Sinestro, and Blackhand, wherein this powerful item was present. Now, what follows this is really important, not just for Simon, since after Badge told him a Green Lantern ring can pretty much do anything he can will it to, our newest character to wear one heads over to a hospital, meeting his sister Sierra so they can visit his comatose brother-in-law Nazim, and because he's in this state due to a street racing accident the two were in, it's time to fix that. Yep, I'm about to tell you that Mr. Baz actually wills his GL ring to heal Nazim from a coma, albeit after a seriously, truly, very, very, very large amount of willpower is displayed. I would give this scene a lot more attention or even merit, considering a Green Lantern just medically healed someone, meaning every other Green Lantern Corps member should be mastering this ability right away. However, the ring itself is widely known as the most powerful weapon in the universe, to some debate I'm sure, which by that statement alone though, and I've said this before, gives the writers free rein to let it do whatever they need it to. Y'all want it to become a magical medical miracle maker? Who's gonna dispute that? Moving on, even Badge is shocked at what Simon just did, saying he may be more important than anticipated, but for the time being, a newscast is caught exclaiming Guy Gardner is a convict currently, meaning he needs a rescue. Then, to finish, Hal and Sinestro are shown still in the dark dead zone, with the first to greet them being deceased Green Lantern Tomar Ray, whose people have long histories with the Green and Yellow Lantern Corps, but here he is saying they must stop someone named Volthoom. Green Lantern Corps number 16 opens on the Guardians of the Universe watching the Third Army continue their invasion of Earth, yet not attracting a single hero in the New 52's attention. Sliding over to Guy Gardner, he's still in the can due to his botched vigilante work in issue 15 after losing his Green Lantern status, but after knocking out an angry cellmate, he doesn't seem at liberty to share his recent problems with detective brother Gerard and cop sister Gloria, who does what I'm sure many of Gardner's associates have wanted to do to him time and time again. The slap fight and interview then concludes early because suddenly the Third Army attacks this police precinct, which has another officer letting Guy loose pretty much immediately, no questions asked, giving the trio of Gardners a chance to team up alongside a detail of other cops, shooting up the TA with raided armory weapons. The Third Army sure as hell came in numbers though here, sending dozens after what appears to be Guy. Lucky for him though, Simon Baz and Badge arrive in perfect timing to assist, which they do immediately among the intense fighting, with Badgie clearing the place out of humans including Gerard and Gloria, while Simon, or Chucklehead, is asked to do something else. Just a quick little errand. Not really a big one. Guy just asks him to steal air missiles from a nearby National Guard station. Oh boy. The man who's suspected of being a terrorist for domestic bombings throughout the Green Lantern Volume 3 title has now stolen highly lethal US military property. Not to mention there's the question of how he even got them out of there without any government resistance. Yeah, I don't know and I don't care. Gardner's idea, though, is to use the explosives in a confined bubble that Badge traps the TA in, and that gambit works quite well, leaving nothing behind, allowing the trio to leave Earth for the moon, while our new and former Green Lanterns get off to a middle-of-the-road type of relationship, before Guy is shown the message on Simon's ring telling him the Guardians of the U went nuts and are responsible for the Third Army. John and Yira were not forgotten about this edition, with the two of them combining their talents to find the powerful living planet and former Green Lantern Mogo in hopes to help it piece itself back together due to being destroyed in the War of the Green Lanterns. Their search has now paid off, it appears, as they locate a core piece of Mogo in deep space, but it's currently being weaponized by alien terrorists, so while Stewart and Fatality fly into action, they swap some info regarding Yira's time with Kyle in Green Lantern New Guardians, and Johnny finding out Saeed is, or rather was, still alive, confirming to him the Guardians are up to something big. They sure as shit are, and you've missed it all because that's exactly what was planned. Green Lantern New Guardians number 16, hands down, is one of the best additions in this entire crossover, beginning with Kyle Rayner undertaking his final color training, which is Violet Love, and as he's got a star sapphire crystal on him, memories of his past are relived, but these aren't just any. They're the most prominent memories of the heart, from losing his dad, who walked out on the family, to true love with girlfriend Alex, and the affection he had for Guardian Ganthet, who was more of a mentor after giving Kyle his Green Lantern ring. This is all taking place on Violet Lantern Corps planet of Zamaron, where the leaders of the Star Sapphires, also called the Zamarons, drop the news that they in fact are not truly working with the Guardians of the Universe like shown over the whole event, just pretending to so they could devise a plan to stop them. I still wonder if this was a plot line that had to be abandoned at the 11th hour due to it not having gone anywhere, and the Zamarons were just made out to be good again randomly. Moving on, Star Sapphire, Carol Ferris, and Yellow Lantern Arkilo are shown next since they've been traveling with Kyle, but Larfleeze was also among them at issue number 15's conclusion, and instead Blue Lantern leader Saint Walker is here now. However, one sentence by Carol about the Terebrian Dominion tells us they had a quick trip into the New 52 series called Threshold that involved a renegade Green Lantern, Blue Beetle, Larfy, and a whole lot more, which I will cover in a future review. The Zamarons' allegiance is thrown into question again here, as the Star Sapphire's queen has called the Guardian Ganthet alone to meet up with Kyle, or rather just full out attack him, allowing a display of the color cores he's already acquired to defend and even fight back. Except it's clear 6 out of 7 ain't enough, meaning Violet is still needed. Great battle sequence though. Finally, the Zamarons proved their 100% against the Guardians, jumping in to assist Kyle next, to which Ganthet says they already knew the alliance with them was BS, but Kyle actually halts the Star Sapphires, exclaiming he promised to fulfill Saeed's dying wish to save her lover Ganthet. This situation gains another level of intensity now too, with the Third Army invading the planet in large numbers, going on to convert some of the Violet Lantern Corps, thus giving Ganthet his escape opportunity. That doesn't last long because Carol, Arkilo, and Saint Walker enter the fight, combining their power with the Zamarons to quite possibly put down Ganthet for good, only to be stopped by Raynor again. And how is he repaid? Ganthet friggin' blasts a hole straight through K-Man's chest with the green energy the Guardians use. How wonderful. Darn right it is, because while lying there looking like a bloody corpse, some dialogue from the dead decrees that love may be the cornerstone emotion of the universe, and even with the GOTUs existing for billions of years, their creation of the Third Army proves they still have a lot to learn about universal free will, which Kyle has now officially grasped in full, thus becoming the one and only legendary White Lantern. I'll take a 24 by 36 poster of this first page of him in the new uniform, please. He's then able to wipe out all of the Third Army members present with a simple wave of his hand, scaring Ganthet into fleeing the planet, and that has Raynor plus his new Guardians team ready for their resistance. Red Lanterns number 16 wraps up the core issues of this event, gearing up for the finale, and it continues exactly where issue number 15 finished, as Atrocitus survived the vicious Manhunter robot's assault. However, does that look like something he could walk away from? It looks like he's being vaporized, but now it doesn't appear that the attack fazed him. Well, he did fight Apollo, Midnighter, and Martian Manhunter to a standstill once. Anyway, with the MH robots appearing rather T-800-ish here, Atrocitus has to take down some of the belligerent ones with extreme prejudice, and after that's taken care of, the remaining metal menaces seem to fall in line and behave, while our Red Lantern leader uses his own blood to mark his new weapons of destruction that now call him Master. A full circle moment for sure, considering these robots took everything Atrocitus once held dear, but their next proposed plan to attack Oa is hindered by the Red Lantern Corps Central Battery still not recovering. The RLs can finally get an answer as to why that is, since over on Ysmalt, the member Ratchet has dug deep into the planet looking for anything he can find, and stumbles upon the 4 inversions. Don't ask me why there's more of them here now, and they have been draining the central battery to power themselves. It's also pretty clear they ain't friendly at all with the one who I'm gonna call Roxy, because pronouncing her name ain't happening. You all can look at it yourselves and say it any way you want, but she says Atrocitist loved her once, however he's got quite a few things to not look forward to very soon. Jumping to Bleeze and Rancor next, they're still on Earth with Baxter, however when Jack isn't sure whether to kill him or not, Bleeze starts torturing the guy with her spit. No comment. And this does get the lone human Red Lantern to take out his half-ass former foe, swift and simple. Not the most satisfying moment though, since a construct of Jackie Boy's grandpa is cast, yelling about being disappointed that the death wasn't slow. This family member was the one Baxter killed in Volume 1, setting up Rancor's introduction to this universe, just for some more quick context. Bleeze can't help herself anymore though in the following scene either, with it being obvious in the past that she wants Mr. Moore's red construct ability due to him having this trait alone, and to put it simply, she offers him Cooch for the constructs in trade, but when rejected, he's called an enemy. Back to Atrocitus to end, he sent a group of the Manhunter robots to invade Oa, wherein they're met by the planet's defense systems, except that's all a distraction so the Guardians of the Universe original homeworld of Maltus can be visited on the sly, wherein Atroso says something terribly powerful and feared is beneath. But what's found first is a light energy device that emits images of former Guardian Krona, claiming he wishes to speak with Atrocitus. Alright. The issues covered in this video were 2 number 15s and every number 16 coming from Green Lantern New Guardians Volume 3 Love and Death, Red Lanterns Volume 3 The Second Prophecy, Green Lantern Corps Volume 3 Willpower, and Green Lantern Volume 3 The End. As for any quick final words with pretty much just the conclusion to come, I want to address a few things like how the Guardians of the Universe found the planet Nuck in Green Lantern number 12, but did nothing with the intel even though the Indigos were supposed to be a big part of defeating them. Yet this event took that subplot nowhere. Then we had Bleeze's talk of being sorta conflicted on how bad she truly is in Red Lanterns number 16 due to her recent time with the Violet Lantern Corps, and that had me wanting the Reds and Star Sapphires to team up for battle. Honestly, there definitely was a shortage of any Third Army fighting against the Color Corps. Any type of combined forces would have been very welcomed. Also, by now, you most likely deduced that Hal would not be the main star of this event after it ended, but the lack of Green Lanterns in general seemed off, because some scenes of ones that are well known being included to see the plot threads unfold could have helped make things feel more real and threatening. Lastly, the way love was the catalyst of emotion to spark Kyle's White Lantern transformation actually really worked for me, because all other emotions in the spectrum seem to stem from a loving heart in some way or another. Maybe not greed, but all Raynor had to do was win a game of Capture the Orange Lantern to get that one done. That's gonna conclude this review for today, and if you've watched until the end here, I want to personally thank you for that, and to please like, share, and subscribe. Please follow me on all my social media platforms, and to please join me next time for Rise of the Third Army Part 4, The Conclusion.